The annoying thing about seed trays when you have your seedlings at such a young age is that they're very susceptible to any sort of large change, temperature, wind, water, whatever it may be. So this is specifically if you are trying to grow in very warm areas that gets very intense heat. So this is the Cattlepanel greenhouse, where now the sun is becoming higher in the sky, so the rays coming down from the sun are at a higher angle and the intensity is much stronger. So every day when I know that the forecast is for a heavy sun, I know that these trays are going to get quite warm, almost to a point where they're hot to touch, which means anything that's very young, such as the seedlings here, are going to be susceptible to dying fairly quickly. So case in point, the one day we were not home, normally I would put these trays inside the cold frames just to stop them from getting the direct heat or the direct sun. But we were out and we were not able to do that during the day. And so you can see the arugula is growing fairly well here, but these cells were facing that way. And they were getting the direct hit of the sun, and you can see they shriveled up in this whole row. So they just didn't all die randomly. You can definitely tell there's something specific to this, and in this case it's simply because the sun was beating down on these cells the hardest, and the bottom tray didn't have any water in it. So it may have been able to overcome itself if it had enough water to kind of cool itself down and to rehydrate itself, but because it didn't have any of that, it was done. If you have larger plants, like let's just say the beans in this case, sometimes if they're large enough they can tolerate a little bit more of the harsh conditions and they can bounce back quicker. Cucumbers is definitely a good example of that. But some are either more susceptible and or just because they are that much younger, they're more prone to be shriveling up and dying under those sort of circumstances. So if you are going to get into seed trays, which I still highly recommend, there is a little bit of a babysitting that you need to do for germination as well as at these early stages. Because in my case, I didn't catch it in time and I could have lost this whole row or this whole tray if we weren't able to get water in it. All of them look pretty bad, but they were able to be rescued, and some of them can't. So seed trays can be annoying at these early phases. Once you get above where they become more mature plants, then they tend to be a little bit more robust. But at this age, they need to be much greater oversight than just kind of watering and leaving it.